Welcome back, everybody. Hey, I got my guy in here. He's come a long ways. Jazzy, don't let his name fool you. He's about that fitness game. Dude's ripped. Dice, he's going to tell you his story, and we're going to get it started, man. Introduce yourself and let them know what you're about and where you come from, bro.
My name is Jazzy Singh. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. My parents are from Punjab, India. And yeah, I'm just here. I'm ready to kick it off.
Man, I love that shit. So what's your experience so far in Miami? Because most of the world's under snow right now, and it's December 23rd in Miami today.
I was leaving. It was literally snowing. I get here. It's 80 degrees. I'm at the beach. I'm just chilling, reading my book, getting some content. But I love the weather here. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the things that I couldn't get away from is, you know, San Diego is a little bit chilly, but Miami's pretty San Diego-ish weather in the wintertime. I mean, the rest of the country's snowing, and right now it's, what, 65? Yeah. And perfectly sunny out? That's crazy.
And, it was like 25.
Fuck that.
From where I came, yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I might have to eventually just come out here or something. But
oh, man, Miami's where it's at, man. If you're doing something, they call it the Miami effect. I don't know if you've heard that before, but there's a lot of people that come here and they get in the entrepreneurial space, and before long, within 5 years, they completely change their trajectory because they're around so many successful people.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, I feel the energy.
Yeah, it's different.
Like, you can literally, you go to Elevation, you go anywhere, and you can just feel that there's a lot of creative energy, and with that creative energy, like, it just flows through you, and I can feel that I could do a lot here if I was to move here. That's the only reason I've been really considering it. I got like 5-woman little brother at home. That's the only reason I kind of wouldn't want to shift down here, because they're not going to come down here, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
it's probably not the lifestyle for them, but for me, it kind of be perfect.
I mean, that's the beauty of running an online business is you're not tied to any one location. So you could dip, come down and hang out, you know, a month in Miami, then go back home for a month.
Yeah.
You don't have to completely, you know, settle and just stay in one spot.
Yeah, that might be the move.
I mean, that's what actually a lot of the clientele that I've been running into recently have been doing, kind of a rotation. So probably about I'd say about 5 or 6 people in the last year, especially since summer, have basically been on a rotation. They just come from all over, chill for 2-3 weeks a month, and then go back home and kind of get exposed to that different energy and training cycle.
I tell you, bro, when I go back home, like, it's so different. The mindset, the ability to think big, it's not fucking there. Like, everyone, like, oh my guys, we're connected to the internet. You guys understand how powerful that shit is? 10 years ago, I couldn't figure out what everyone else was doing. I couldn't hang out with Clinton, with Wes, with Kobe, with Muhammad Ali, with Mike fucking Tyson. Yeah. And you become who you hang out with. As soon as I figured out the power of the fucking internet, I was just binging just Ali, Tyson, Kobe, Jordan, all this, and just putting that into my mind. Even though around me, I had the most negative of influences, right? My dad's over here drinking, pissed drunk on the couch. My brothers are pushing weight, always getting into trouble and shit. I go to school, everyone's just got their own shit going on. I was like, before I was 10, I was hanging out with a bunch of bums, like white trash. Not even trying to, like, it's not me trying to be racist or some shit, but it was just, I was hanging out with trailer park kids. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
And then after that, I kind of moved up to like middle class, where I'm hanging out with people that have a little bit more money and stuff. I really got to see what these different levels, what they value.
Right.
At the very bottom, everyone just wants to blame their circumstances, right? They're just like, oh, nothing's in my control. It'll be whatever the fuck it'll be. Middle class are like, I do have a little bit of power in my life and what I want to do with it. But they're so caught up appearing to be rather than actually becoming. They only care about how you look, right? And then I got around you guys, where it's like, nah, fuck all that shit. Before anything, you better have integrity. You better have character. You better have conduct.
Yeah. You gotta get it done. I mean, life can be complicated and overcomplicated by us. But at the end of the day, really the best way to live it is just adopt the behaviors of people you want to be like. And hopefully those behaviors are positive. When I was a kid, you know, adopted the behaviors of people that weren't so positive, and it had a negative impact on my life. The moment I flipped it into positive and just said, hey, look, this one person, I don't like everything about them. They suck in relationships, but man, they have figured out money. Okay, dude, how can you help me make more money? And in one statement, the guy helped me make money. There was no coaching. He gave me one line of advice: buy property in this zone in the next 5 years. And here's how you go find out what that is. In one statement, that guy changed the trajectory of every investment I ever made. To this day, I still invest off the same one statement from a guy that was, he was the co-owner of the largest quarry in all of Texas. So not a little rich, like stupid fucking retarded rich, right? Serious, really rich. They named streets after the dude.
Wow.
He's big.
Yeah.
Right. So they have trains that come up and just pull rocks of certain types out of the ground from this dude's quarry. So, and that's all it was. One line. I took that one line from someone that was way smarter than me and applied it. And to this day, we've purchased, I think, 10 properties with the same exact strategy.
Wow.
Which is simple. Which, not to gatekeep here, you buy in the gentrification zones. So he gave me advice to buy at the edge of the city and the county. The county tells you when they're going to annex from the country. And they have a 5-year, a 2-year, a 3-year plan. You buy in that zone when the city annexes it into the city infrastructure. Now you get schooling, utilities, all that provided from the city, and it elevates the price of your property. So I would buy land, build on it, right in that zone to where when it was annexed, property value went way up, and we had a house on it, right? I did that over and over and over again. Same thing I apply now, but it's not in the city-country zone. It's in basically the zones of gentrification, wherever they're injecting a lot of revenue and they're targeted to change the demographic of that zone. That's where I purchase now. And I'm like on a 2 to 5 year cycle.
Wow.
So when I project 5 years, it'll be something super nice. I buy in the 2-year range when it's super cheap, inject value, hold for a couple years, and right around the time everybody wants to start living there, prices are really high. Right. And then I just exit the property.
Yeah.
Boom. Massive, several $100,000 in profit by just being patient.
Yeah. And that even though that's such a simple statement, people are going to hear 2-5 years and be like, no, I need it fucking quicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my brother's watching this, so love you if you're watching this. He just put you on motherfucking game, and you better use that shit. Like, it's always a long play. It's always a long play.
I mean, it's an investment. There's short-term money, there's active money, there's passive money, and it's okay. You can have a little bit of everything, but it's a strategy, and most people don't have the patience to wait out a couple years. I was never into flipping a house because it's too aggressive. For every day you hold it costs you money. It has to move. In the state of California with permitting and applying to the codes and stuff, it is very hard to meet a significant schedule and exit with profit. People do it, but I didn't like that game because it was, I don't have any more hair to lose. So I need something that's a little bit more predictable that I can control more of my fate with it. And that's property is easy to make money, especially if it's the right area and type. Yeah. Don't buy the most expensive house on the block. Buy the cheapest house in the most expensive neighborhood that you can afford on a corner, hopefully, and then you can inject value, add square footage, and sell it for massive profits. Yeah. Massive profits. Building is where it's at, realistically. There's all the margins there, probably 30-40%.
Yeah, I want to invest eventually, but right now all of my money is just going right back into my personal development and business.
You should, yeah. Once you're good and you figure out how to scale to 10 to 20 to 50 to 100K in any one business, the process applied to almost all other businesses is about the same. Okay. You need leads. Yeah. You need a fulfillment system. You need some type of administration. Yeah. And probably ads at some point. Like the process and the pillars of most businesses are about the same. Once you figure it out, they apply everywhere. It didn't matter if you want to sell an individual product like a glass or sell coaching. Like the problem is always the same. Leads. How do I put this thing in a lot of hands? Right. The right hands. Right. And that's the skill. And then fulfillment becomes easy. Yeah. Yeah, we could sell 1 million of these and not even print one fucking cup. Yeah. Yeah, make the cup later. Yeah. Once you collect the money, make the cup later.
Yeah. That's a good idea, and just use funding, right?
Yeah. That's what Kanye West did. Yeah. Yeah, Kanye West spent his last little peso on the dumbest iPhone ad humanly possible at the Super Bowl, and he didn't have one product on the shelf. He had a website, When the people went to the website, they let him know what to go purchase, and he figured out which are his key products to sell and which ones were garbage.
That's genius.
And then offered them, like a discount. Like, hey, look, we're out of supply. It's going to take us a little while to get to you, but we will, and here's your discount code.
Wow.
Total G. He had 0 products on the shelf.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a normal way of doing business. Very smart with your money.
Yeah.
Find out what works first before you funnel massive dollars in infrastructure and supply into something that you have no idea could work. You're just off of a hope. That's retarded when it comes to business.
Right. Yeah, you got to be a little
Really
bit more
bad
calculated
idea.
than that.
Yeah, you want to see if it's marketable. A person, you go down the pathway of coaching, the person might not be marketable. For whatever reason, they just cannot market themselves. Either they turn off the audience, it's their tone, demeanor, their demographic, who knows? There's a million reasons, but the individual might not possibly be marketable. Like, I can't make the world like me.
Right.
Right? That's it. I just can't. And some people love me, but if it's not enough, you can't keep the lights on in the house.
Right.
And that's it. And then us other individuals, you'll see them, and they're scooping up just all the attention and resources because the world loves them. And
Right.
fuck, like, life's not fair.
Yeah. What do you think it is about those people?
Usually it's a character trait, a personality trait. They're quirky in their own way, like unique. And then it's usually a unique niche. So in all the areas of business, there's one king of the hill in a niche. That's it. And you can't have 5 kings of the hill. It doesn't work. So you'll just saturate the market, and it kind of all flows to the top individual. So the key is you want to have a unique personality and a somewhat unique niche down, so that maybe your demographic isn't 4 million people, but maybe there's no competition for 300,000 of them.
Yeah.
0. And although that's a small number, that's way easier to deal with than a niche with 4 million and say 40,000 creators targeting those same 4 million people. Like, that's not going to work. It's just too much noise, too much competition. I'm sure they've seen another white guy with tattoos on their neck, tattoos on their arms that probably does it better than me. So you're competing against that one individual. It's going to be really hard. So you have to scratch out your niches. When we look at coaching in general, here's some game is that the coaches that really accelerate out have kind of unique niches and unique messages. It was like Guerrero Fitness. When I was understanding it, it was Superhuman Father. It was like Wes Watson. Like, when you look at all his students, Yados, they all have unique niches. None of them are competing with each other. They're in the coaching space, but the people they're targeting are nothing like each other.
Right.
Superhuman Fathers is that father aspect. Guerrero was like the gangster version, the Latino gangster version of Wes. And then you have Yados, which was like all the Latino community. That space was entirely untouched. Yeah. So like it's clear they don't really compete with each other. They're not talking to the same avatar.
I think that's one of the best things that Wes taught me was, instead of trying to compete with everyone on what they're doing, just be different. Because being different is better than being better at what they're doing.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
You're gonna pull in whoever resonates with your message.
That's right.
So, some people are gonna look at Wes like they already do, and they're gonna be like, "Oh fuck no,
I'm not gonna have a grown man yell at me, right?
Yeah,
Fuck that.
but then they'll see me like, I kind of vibe with this guy. He's a little bit more chill. Yeah, he yells here and there, but I mean, and it honestly it also comes down to how you look. I'm Indian. I'm gonna bring in that demographic.
Yep.
For Wes, a lot of his clients are previous gangsters.
That's right. Yep. Almost
people
all
that
of them.
went to prison and shit. So.
Yeah, it's like girls that have like a semi crush on Wes from whatever reason. They like that bad boy, and then it's a lot of pretty interesting people with checkered past. Like almost all of them.
Yeah, I mean, he gives them hope. Like, because society tries to make everyone believe that, hey, if you fucked up in the past, you are that fuck up.
Yeah.
Right. And they hold on to that past for the rest of their life, and they don't feel like they're worthy to be better. But I mean, I wouldn't even say anything about the worth. It's like, your family deserves better, motherfucker. You better get better for them. It's not even about whether you think you deserve to be someone who's successful or not. They deserve someone who's better.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look at how much. Look, 10% of society is going to kill it.
Yeah.
They were killing it. Usually success is a character trait. I go back to that all the time. My content is, I can't teach really someone to be successful. I can give 1,000 people the exact steps of my business.
Yep.
It does anyone. It doesn't matter. And there's a reason why I have high education. There's a reason why I have high performance in the military. There's a reason why my business is successful. It's a character trait.
Yeah.
It's the people that'll do it and learn and take the risk will always succeed in something.
Right.
Right. You have to have massive pair of balls to just take that first step and be like, well, I know we can get something happening. So just give me some duct tape, some popsicle sticks, and let's figure out how to make a car out of this. Right. And we'll sell it. Like you could get it done, man. You got to be resourceful.
The who. It always comes down to the who. Like you said, it's the character trait.
It totally is. And I mean, I had 7 cars before I went into the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we were painting cars and hustling and doing what we needed to do and grinding, but it was a character trait. And when I got out of the Marine Corps, I got successful again. I was a millionaire at like 35, something like that. First time millionaire. And boom. It's a character trait. It was just, I just really believe in hard work.
Yeah.
If you put in a massive amount of volume of work and you figure out where you can scale yourself, you can make money. Like, how do I do more of exactly what I'm doing now? You know, and that, if I was a garbage man, I would say, Jesus, I do not want to sit on this truck forever, but I know how to move trash. Well, in a relatively short amount of time, I could purchase a dump truck and get a driver and bring in the leads and have a refuge service where like, hey, if you have junk, I can come pick it up and get rid of that shit for you. Yep. No problem. And before long, maybe I'd have a couple trucks and we'd have a business that'd probably do a few $100,000 a month off of just moving trash.
But like the average person that's delivering trash or I'm picking up trash or whatever the fuck, he can't think like that.
No, they won't.
You know, they have too much fear for one. They never done anything. They've never succeeded at a high level, like you said. So until they change who they are, how they see themselves, nothing was gonna fucking change.
100%. They're conditioned to be the sheep, the employee, the student, the 9-to-5 job holder. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is a very reliable and honest way to live. But it's not a large step for anybody that has 10% of just savage in them to go and create their own path and make way more money than their 9-to-5. You just need a little push and a lot of belief and a massive amount of effort. And I think most businesses could scale to $100,000 a month relatively easily with low investment. But there's just massive opportunity everywhere all the time. Yeah. And I mean, look, there's like 6-7 figure lash girls running lashes out of their garage and shit, and they just fulfill lashes all day long. And
that's crazy.
And they work for themselves. If they don't feel like working, they don't. And, and their husband works and does his own thing, and she's just, you know, cranking 20 G's a fucking month, 30 G's a month, just doing lashes. I mean, that's crazy, but that's a niche that's a problem everybody needs solved. Those lashes don't last forever, and they're not very effective. It's all labor. Yeah. So every week they need new lashes or a touch-up or whatever it is that you girls do, but it's something that always needs to be solved.
I can already like see all the pitfalls most people would go through in trying to do something like that. Yeah. You know, like, I mean, obviously the risk is always a thing, but I mean, there's just so many things.
I just see it as simple as, hey, I can do a skill. Like, how do I bring in the leads for that skill? And what do I need? Is it social media? Is it Google Ads? Do I have to have a website? Can I do it straight from my phone? Who's going to be doing the booking? Yeah. Like, can that be a VA? I mean, it's straightforward. And the process of all businesses is, once you understand it, they're about all the same. Right. Not all businesses will work. Yeah. With the 7-8 figure entrepreneurs that I know, there seems to be a trend is they push efforts into small businesses and a small amount of capital to test them. And they're looking for an outlier of a business model that will function in a space that they want to target. For example, I have an entrepreneur, he's on his like 4th or 5th online business, and he just keeps iterating through them until we find the one that has clear indications of success. And we have, I think, two that are pretty clear out of 5 that will most likely work well. One is far more complicated with a course and like an online course, multiple courses, and it's live. So it's a way bigger headache. And then another one's pretty lean, where basically every lead that comes through is the ideal demographic of the target avatar, which is completely different. And one's extremely lean, and the other one is pretty, I'd say, fairly complex. So like, I noticed that's how they do it, and that's a good system to understand, is because that's now the second or third entrepreneur that does the exact same thing at different scales. They all do the same thing, is probe which businesses will work, and then take the one that has all the indications to succeed. They turn down all the other ones and just scale the one that's going to work. A lot of that's related to lacking competition in that space, especially if it's revolving social media. For example, I had a kid, he did crazy. He's doing like $70,000, $100,000 in a unique market where there's no videography and no marketing, there's no nothing. Well, he saturated the market with just his message and business and basically scooped up all the opportunity. But then he comes here where there's massive opportunity and his business like tanks. It's because there's 30x people doing exactly what he does at half the price. So now you have a supply and demand challenge. So he was in a market where it was untouched, and then we're in a market that has a fair amount of competition. So efficiencies become super important, and margins. Whereas where he was at, he could charge $5,000 to do an ads course for people that have never even really heard of social media or tried it. And here that won't work. Not even close. And people look at you like, what? Like, no, this dude does all my ads for $15. Like, what are you talking about? It's just different. So you have to be aware of the demographic, who you're talking to, your clientele. There's a science behind it.
Yeah. I mean, test some shit out, see which one takes off. Yeah,
I mean, you're doing fairly well in your coaching aspects. So, I mean, you have a clear demographic. You have a clear demographic of where there's probably, I've never seen someone online with your demographic talking online about fitness.
Yeah.
So the likelihood.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, it's gonna break the fucking internet.
Yeah.
Watch.
So your demographic, you keep going and you keep putting on size and developing your presence, dialing in your content, and growing your current audience and building that community. Oh man. Right. Fast forward 5 years, if you don't give up, you just keep systematically growing over time, no one's gonna touch it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I mean, like, the thing about my people is that there's no one that's willing to do this shit. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you know, like, one day, what else am I gonna do? Am I ever gonna not do this? Like, you know, 10 years down the line or something like that. Am I gonna get into something else eventually?
Sure.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, these people need help. Like, I understand where they are. I understand when I was smoking weed, when I was just being a fucking degenerate, running away from all my responsibilities. And like, all my people were counting on me. And what saved me was my coach, you know? And I'm like, but people aren't all gonna go to him. They just flat out don't fucking like him. So who's gonna save my people? It has to be me.
Yeah.
People in my demographic, they're not even willing to get on fucking camera. All they do, these dudes will constantly change their fucking profile pic. They'll put on a profile pic, they'll take it off. I'm like, what the fuck are you possibly ever gonna do? Like, you're so in shame, you can't even have a fucking profile picture up. What the fuck did you do this weekend? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That on Monday, that your profile pic is gone, but on Friday it was fucking there. What the fuck did you do?
Oh, they fell off. Come on, you know the truth.
Like, you guys went, did a bunch of regretful ass shit, and you didn't listen.
They feel guilty.
All those feelings, the regret, the shame, the guilt, all of it is telling you. It's telling you that, hey, you need a course correct. Like, you thought you found fucking heaven when you were smoking weed and you were dancing with that chick and you were drunk as fuck at the club, whatever, and right there it feels like heaven. But then afterwards, when that regret hits, that's God telling you, hey, that was a fucking lie. Now you need to course correct. But you're like, let me just go do that again this weekend.
Oh, yeah, that post-nut clarity is a motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what it is.
You look over like, what? Get the fuck out of my house. What is this? This is horrible. Yeah. Nah, man, it's massively powerful. And yeah, I mean, no one coach is for everybody. Even my coach, he was just the only guy for me. That was it. I saw things on the internet. I was like, lame, soft, bitch, not for me. And then I saw this dude. I'm like, Como? I was like, what is she talking about? Like, all right, let's see
Did
it.
he chew you out the first time or something like that?
Yeah. So if you don't know, my coach, now my friend, Wes Watts, I don't have many friends, like a couple homies, but yeah, the first interaction with this guy, dude fucking cusses me out on the phone. I sent a message, you get a bunch of links. I was super fucking crazy at work. Just no excuse. I have every excuse in the thing, but I didn't hit all the links and really pay attention, right? But regardless, the system is send him a message and he'll get you into his booking system. It's not 100% automatic. It's not like you would get assigned a date. That's what's in my head. So I went through all the links and I just didn't notice that. So I sent the message like, hey, we ever going to be get on a call? And you know who he is. Like, you don't know who you get that day. And dealing with morons that don't pay attention isn't the highlight of his afternoon. So he rips into me. I never seen the guy in person. We lived in the same city, San Diego. And then, we hang up. He's like, dude, are you fucking stupid? I was like, sometimes. Yeah. I was like, sometimes I'm a moron, bro. I was like, be perfectly honest. I was like, but I'm pretty smart. I can handle this. I was like, all right. I was like, you tell me the date. I was like, I show up. That's it. And that was really it. Hang up the phone. And then no shit, hour or two later, I'm in downtown San Diego and I run into, at that time, what was he driving? I think he had the Rolls Royce Wraith.
Yeah. He's had like so many.
He had two cars at the time. It was the Huracan and the Rolls Royce Wraith. So the Huracan that Sohab drives. Yeah. He sold that to Sohab, but that was the one he had. And I can't remember if he was in the Huracan or the
Aventador?
The Rolls.
Oh,
no, he didn't have the Aventador.
He had the yellow S. Okay.
This was way back.
This is way back.
Back in the day. Okay. About 2 years ago. 2.5. And that's where our journey started. And not everybody can handle another grown man yelling. But after being in the Marine Corps, I was like, I hear lots of people yell. It's like, it's just words. Like, I don't even notice, right? For real. And I don't care what comes out your mouth. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, all right.
Bro, people can't handle that, but that's exactly what they need.
And that was the only connection there. And I didn't really want anything from him. I picked on it. I started his business programming. And the only one thing I wanted to learn, I didn't give a fuck about fitness. I know about macros and nutrition for 2.5 decades. I used to compete CrossFit, but I only cared about one thing, was teach me how to bring leads in from the internet. I didn't know shit about social media. I thought it was a joke, right? You see the girls with the duck lips taking photos at the fucking restaurants and stuff. I used to make fun of those people. I was like, what the fuck is this? And they don't make any money. I was like, and this dude clearly has pieced together how to make some type of money. So I want to know how to do that. And I just kept on the program, kept staying close, eventually ended up working together with him with the content. And I learned the mechanisms in his business and how they work just through observation. So the business isn't complicated. It's super fucking simple. We all think that human nature would tell us it'd be some technology, some super secret process that no one's ever heard of is how he results in this. No. How his business works is he has a massive virality on Instagram, and his YouTube has solid views, but his views aren't very viral on YouTube. He has a very good network of buyers. His message is very tight. He's very good on the internet. He's extremely well spoken. His podcast presence and his general searchability on YouTube is through the roof. It's not just his views on his Instagram or his YouTube channel. You'd be like, he doesn't really get that many views. It's like 400,000 a month or something. In the realm of YouTube, that's a large number, but nowhere near makes sense when you see his type of revenue. He has a just tight number of buyers in his community that he's built over the years, and it's directly related to the amount of reach and accounts he's touching every month. We're talking, bro, legitimately in his organic, 30 million in his organic alone. His advertising process, who fucking knows? And then his indirect stuff from other people making content about him, it's got to be hundreds of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah, other people making content about him.
It's not just his organic, it's the other people making content about this dude, striking interest, and other people like, who the fuck are they even talking about? Go check out his content, like, oh, I see what they're saying, or I don't understand why they have an issue with what he's talking about. Like, you get that, and it's probably about 10%, 5 to 10% of the traffic coming across his pages results in some type of a buy opportunity. maybe lower, maybe 3, but still 3% of hundreds of millions of views is a lot of fucking leads.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no, it's really the challenge is keeping up with all the leads.
Yeah.
That's it. How do we not drop 800 leads, several thousand leads a day, right? Most people have 3, 20, 50. We're talking 800,000s. Like that's a lot of leads to keep up with every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Wes Watson's stress is how do I not drop all these leads and keep up with all this?
Dude's literally just like has a bunch of money in his hand. He's like trying to make sure he can keep all of it.
So
Yeah.
if you're not aware, the money is always there. You're just not getting it.
Yeah.
When you have that kind of leads, like if you could talk to every single person and just have a short conversation, figure out what they were going to buy, someone in there's going to buy.
Yeah.
Like guaranteed. And it's probably, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 sales opportunities sitting in that list. If he doesn't get through them all, he could miss. If he just felt like taking a day off, he wouldn't hit any of those leads. And that's the challenge of running a business that's super lean and that requires interaction from the influencer. Yeah, that's essentially his business model. But that is not uncommon to most coaching profiles. Most coaching businesses run on a very similar model. I mean, that's same as yours. Your business is identical to his.
Right.
For the most part, and almost identical to mine. I have a fair amount of automations running because I don't want to be down into the fucking weeds, like digging out leads at that volume. But I bring them in through my organic, and my organic has 1.7 million views a month. So I have the volume to basically drive traffic into my automations, basically with calls to action and basically every piece of content. So they do the work for me, essentially. So I'm allowing my organic to run as a machine, say, hey, if you're interested in this thing, message this, and it sends them down the sales pathway, some way, shape, or form. And then we just pluck them out of the pathway and push them into our funnel. And that's essentially how we do it. But because I don't want to be on the internet all day long with my thumbs down in the weeds. And I spend a lot of time on the phone, but I found a slightly different way to do it. But we'll most likely drop a fair amount of those leads. Yeah. Just like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to have the right systems in place.
Yeah, the right systems in place, and it takes time. Like I had a video go viral and we had 10,000 leads come in. Yeah. In a 24-hour period, we had 10,000 leads come in, and that's where I figured out. I was like, oh shit, I should probably have something to sell on the other side of these 10,000 leads, and I didn't. So like I scrambled to produce
some sort of product,
a product that I could tie to that volume of leads because I know the math. Even if you use a 1%, there's some sales in there, right? That you just wake up to every single day. So we created a digital product based on the piece of content.
Which one was that? Because I bought a couple of them.
It was the SAFEZONE. The
overlay. Oh, really?
The overlay. So in one night, so it was just this is about him, but please don't turn this into me. But we had a video go viral and it did an astronomical amount of views for my account, which was millions. And I was like, shit, like my automation's going crazy, and I'm getting all these likes and follows and shit. I was like, what the fuck is happening? So I find a piece of content like, oh shit, it's you. Oh, what do they want? And it was like my overlay. So I didn't have the framework in place to charge for it. I was just giving it away for free as free value. Eventually, I just charged for it. So in the video, kind of messed up, is I said, hey, if you want your free thing, type this in and we'll get it. Eventually, I just made it a paid thing. The video was evergreen for 6 months. So it did 1.1 million views. And I don't know how many of those things we sold, but it was like not a little.
Yeah.
It was a big number. Like my first month I did it on a $199 product. I sold $1,000 of a $199 product with no ad spend, no nothing. My MANYCHAT automation was like $10 to manage. So I mean, off of a $10 investment and an overlay that I just created for content to make the content, I had everything in place. I made $1,000 off of nothing times 4, and now I'm paying for the G-Wagon. You see where content goes, and it's costing me 0. I still to this day requires no human interaction, It runs all on its own. They run down the sales process. They either like it or don't like it, and then they dip. That's it. And that's the beauty of online sales, is if you do it right, it can require very little human interactions. For coaching aspect, it would be wise to interact with your clientele to build more trust. But for digital products or services, we don't need to run into a person. We're like, do you want it or don't you? Here's a little video on like how great it is or isn't. And if you want it, good. Hit the purchase link. If you don't, peace. Come back later.
Yeah.
And that's it. And we just went down that pathway, and now we've started to develop better and better courses, a family of digital products to help the audience kind of in the ways based on the questions that they ask over time. Just basically put it into a Google sheet and say, hey, this is what problems these people are having with content, with their business, with just asking questions with the things that I do. And then we'll create mini courses around those topics and then throw them out and test them to see if they'll work. That's it. Over and over again. My goal is to make $100K off of digital products a month, so that if I wanted to take a vacation and I don't feel like interacting with any clients, I can just turn down the phone and let the sales come in on automatic and go to Maldives and hang out for a week. That's the ultimate goal, is to create distance and space between myself and my business, so that I can take some time and go do something if I so choose.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm like a slave to myself. Yeah, I don't like that. That's it. And that's a normal problem of being an entrepreneur in the first several years. I think probably inside of 5 years, you're going to struggle pretty hard to keep up with everything. And then after that, you'll start to understand, like, I can't sit in this. Like, me being in the weeds is costing me more money. Mm-hmm. You slowly start to remove yourself from functions and scale out of that. And that gives you opportunity to go create larger and larger business connections and deals and then make more money. It's just hard because you're so used to controlling the quality of your product at the bottom. And then the moment you see it work a little bit, you're like, oh, I don't have to take a sales call again. All I gotta do is hire a salesperson and say, you make 10% and then charge 20% more for my product. So now I'm making more money on top of the money that they're making and charging me. Oh, this is great.
Right.
Let's do more of this. Then you're like, oh, wait, how do I don't have enough leads for the sales guy. How do I get my sales guy more leads? And you're like, oh shit, let's run $30,000 in ads. Oh shit, I need 2-3 salespeople now. Fuck. Okay, cool. And then that's where you like figure it out. You're like, oh God, like that's 100, 200, 300,000. You get a couple hungry salespeople in there that are pretty talented, and the only way they eat is by closing. They'll sell everything. Yeah. They'll be like, oh shit, you want my mom? She's on discount right now. Like, she's single. Like, all you got to do is pay her light bill, and she's good. She cooks, she cleans. They're on it. So it's just a process. So in your journey coming around with fitness, what would you say is like the greatest thing that you've learned so far?
The greatest thing I've learned so far, is a quote by Buddha. It's what you think, you become; what you feel, you attract; and what you imagine, you create. So every single time that I used to do anything positive, whether that was going to the gym or trying to eat healthy or whatever, I would imagine the worst case scenario. And I would focus on, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this. And I would just think negatively. As soon as I started changing that and thinking about the best case scenario, the scenario I wanted to happen, then that actually started happening. We create all of it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And so once I realized that that's the root of everything, now there is no more self-sabotage, because I used to sabotage.
Sure.
I would be in real estate. Oh man, I got this closing this month. I'm going to make like 15K. I don't even know how the fuck my smart ass would figure it out, but I would sabotage that shit, right? Because I would start thinking, I'm like, what if this goes wrong, this goes wrong? What if my seller or my buyer gets mad at me, blah, blah, blah. And I would manifest that. Yeah. Just constantly thinking about the negative outcome. And what I didn't understand at that time was that that's just all that I was used to. I was used to everything not going my way. I was used to everything falling fucking apart. So I had to become very aware, very conscious about the outcome that I wanted to create. As soon as I started doing that, now things started changing. Now I started getting the things that I wanted. Now adversity hits and I'm just only focused on the positive. Like, something might happen in the gym. I had a few powerlifting competitions. I missed both my first lifts on deadlift. And it was 440. I opened too high. 440 on deadlift, I was like 143 body weight at that time. Opened too high. And if I didn't hit this third deadlift, I was gonna have to go home. I'm not going to I was in USPA Federation, and I would end up going to the North American Championships if I qualified by hitting this last deadlift. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about, fuck, what if I fuck this up? This is the last lift, this and that. And I snapped out of it. I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not fucking letting go until this shit comes up. I shook. My legs are over here shaking like crazy. My back's running like crazy. The crowd's like, come on. Because they all knew about it. They all knew that if I don't hit this, I'm not going there. And I just refused to let go of that bar. I had hook grip. My fucking skin was like peeling off and shit. And I got it up. And I made it to the North American Championships. And I'm like, fuck, bro. That was because I actually, instead of focusing all my energy on the thing I didn't want, I decided to focus it on the thing I did.
Yeah.
That changed everything.
Man, that belief is so important. I've never met a fighter in my life, a warrior in my life that said, we're going to lose this battle today.
Right.
It doesn't exist. You have to believe you're a champion and going to win long before you ever win.
Yeah.
That's it. And that belief is so powerful. They say manifestation. That's a buzzword and it's super common, but I think belief is even better. Is if you believe you can do it, you will get it done. At some point, you just will.
Yeah.
And that's important. You can't convince. Every battle that's ever lost is easily lost before it ever starts by just saying, I'm not going to win.
Right.
That's it. So if you just flip the switch and say, I'm winning, I'm going to win, I'm going to figure out a way to just destroy this challenge in front of me, you will.
Right.
You will. You gotta start from a psychopathic position of confidence.
Right.
It's the only thing that works.
That's what I realized too about the business that I'm in, is that I'm not in fucking teaching people about macros. I'm not teaching you how to get a bicep vein and some fucking abs. I'm teaching you how to believe in yourself. That's what it comes down to. I just make you so confident. Like, I show up every single fucking day. I'm like, look at my macros. Why the fuck don't you know your fucking macros? Right? If you get these macros right, it will change your fucking life. And over time, you just see it over and over and over again. You're like, maybe this guy's on to something.
Yeah.
Right? Then
simple.
you start taking the action. And as you're taking the action, you're watching me and you're with me and you're asking me questions. I'm like, how the fuck would it not work, bro? It's just a system. Can you follow the system? Like, what if it's not working? I'm like, you're not tracking your shit right. And then we fix that. And you track it right. Hey, I'm down 2.5 pounds this week. How'd that happen? And in the last year, they had lost 10 fucking pounds. Yeah. And in the last 3 months, they're down 38. Yeah. I'm like, come on, bro.
Well, I tell you what, they sneak in a lot of calories in naan bread.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what's that other, man, we all know what it is. It's the food, guys.
Yeah.
The gym is the fun part. The food is the hardest part. And if you can learn how to manipulate your caloric intake, hit your macronutrients and your micronutrients, you can change how you feel and how you look fast. Mm-hmm. Boy,
it was the biggest
crazy.
thing that changed my life. That's why I'm so fucking passionate about it. Like, Wes was over here making these videos. He was like, you need to get your fucking macros right. I'm like, I eat healthy. Like, I track my protein, my fucking calories. Like, I go to the gym. I'm good. Meanwhile, like, I have way too much. I look okay, but I got way too much body fat.
Yeah.
And then I started manipulating the carbs and the fat and then really honing in on it. And I'm like, oh, shit, this is what he was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So the unfortunate part about anything is that you can't just go most of the way.
Yeah.
When it comes to fitness and how you look and performance, doesn't matter if losing weight or you want to put on muscle, you have to go all the way in, or you're playing on the edges of what you could do. And that's the saddest part. I mean, nothing will feel better than the moment you look down and you be like, damn, I actually did this. And you're just like, pa! Yeah. Everything's like just popping. You're like, I look scary. I can't walk anywhere. These bitches are not going to let me leave alive. Yeah. And then the moment you put on some size, you're like, oh, what? I put on 10 pounds of muscle? Holy cow. And once you understand how to suffer and really dial in the system, it's amazing because you can apply that anywhere in life. Be like, if I can just manage to sustain the discomfort long enough, the results will come and I won't even notice.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it. Like, you don't know. I never notice when I'm bigger. I don't. I'll see someone and be like, dude, you're like way bigger. I'm like, what? I was like, nah, I've just been eating. Come on.
Yeah.
Like be nice. Like, I just saw you, bro. He's like, no, you're huge.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't see it. And when I lean out, it's the same way. Like, I just feel the same every day.
A beast forgets that he's a beast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
then other people have to remind you, like, dude, what the fuck?
They do. You just see it every day. You don't notice how far you've come. So it's important to make sure you look back from time to time, be like, oh, damn.
Right.
Like take your before picture and look at it and be like, oh, I see serious progress. And like, look at your measurements. You'd be like, my waist is down like 6 inches or whatever. You're like, my biceps 3 inches bigger. You're like, okay, like we're making like measurable progress.
Yeah.
You just don't notice it day to day.
This is the most common thing I hear is that people don't want to measure their shit.
Oh, they're
like
embarrassed.
then you're not gonna know you actually got better.
They're embarrassed.
You know what I'm saying?
They think so. Hit it right here. Here's your total game for fitness. The scale doesn't mean shit. The scale is a good gauge, but you could be up or down water weight. You can be up or down lean mass, and you can be up or down body fat. That doesn't necessarily equate to any movement on the scale. But the measurement is important because if my waist goes in, then I'm definitely losing body fat. But if the scale stayed the same, would we complain? And the answer is most people no. We're conditioned to say, I'm too heavy, I'm too light, maybe I'm healthy or maybe I'm unhealthy based on the scale. Wow, we'll just put the M for monies. Too heavy or too light on the scale. But however, there's no real way to do it other than the measurement. And the measurement reveals everything. Like I tell girls all the time, would you care if you stayed the same, but your waist was smaller, the hips were bigger, you were curvier, fitter, all your muscles were tight? Would you care really that the scale said 125 or whatever? They're like, no, I wouldn't give a fuck. And same with the dudes. I was like, would you care if your bicep was 18 inches and your waist was 30, but the scale stayed exactly the same? Would you really care? And they're like, no, not at all. I was like, okay, so measure your shit so that we can see how your body is moving and make adjustments. And we need to reduce the variables with the body so that we know what to adjust. And you can't do that with a tube of cookies.
Yeah. That's why I see like being able to get your fitness down for a lot of like my younger guys is going to go directly into being able to be successful in business.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
like, if you're not willing to measure these things and see how that affects your changes, when you get into a business where you're not going to track your fucking revenue and your expenses, are you retarded? Like track your damn macros, every single little bit of it, track your physical progress and track your weights at the gym if you have to.
100%. 100%. You got to remember too is, especially for the young people, what's the thing that young people are not doing great? They have low confidence, especially the men. Men don't have a lot of great examples out there, and they're really struggling, especially young men with good role models. So the moment the young man or young woman gets the results because they earned it based on their own merits, not a participation trophy, that shit is super empowering to where they're confident now.
Yep.
Well, if you feel better and you're more confident, you're going to make more sales. You're going to go harder with your education. You can go harder with your business. You can go harder with your job. You can go harder with your relationships. I mean, nothing will feel better is it being easier to attract an ideal partner instead of you going up to girls and be like, I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. No, she has a boyfriend for you, fool.
Yeah.
She does not have a boyfriend for me. Right? She's single as fuck when I show up, and she's taken as fuck when you show up. And that's the difference, is learn how to attract your ideal partner. When it comes to girls, the same thing. If she was more attractive, she had a more healthy physique, she would attract a far more attractive partner that would probably be a far better match to where she wanted to be in life.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to date a wildebeest, right? Like, oh my God, like, please don't go out in public. Like, don't hold my hand in public. Nah, you want a partner to be like, that's my dude or chick.
Right.
You want that. Everybody wants that. Be like, isn't that dude a stud? Isn't that a vixen over there? I swear she was in Playmate. She was a Playmate once upon a time. He was like, oh, that just gets me going.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these guys will keep trying to chase the chick. I'm like, the chick doesn't want you, bro. You got to change yourself. And once you change yourself, you become the person that they're DMing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you have to be the source of what you see.
You have to attract.
Yeah, you have to attract, not
way to
fucking
do it.
chase.
Like if you're in the mode of chasing, like it's never gonna work.
You have desperation energy, bro.
It's not gonna work. Like I saw this dude. I was at an event and there was this guy and he was there and the guy was shot out looking. He owned a limousine company and bald hair, like partially bald, pot belly, not like his bicep was the size of my wrist. And he's there with a girl and he is clearly friend zoned. Clearly, like the dude keeps holding on to her and she keeps like backing out. I'm like, bro, like, come on. I call him over here. I'm like, hey, dude, look. I was like, give me 10 months, 12 months of your life. I was like, and a girl like that will never, ever back away from you in your life. I go, the moment a girl like that would put you in the friend zone, you'd be like, oh, no problem. I'll be there anyways. I was like, oh, we're just friends? Cool. Can I bring a couple friends? Oh, yeah. It's just an event. I just show up with 2 fucking banging Latinas half her age and be like, you had your chance, mamacita. Yep. I guess I'm just a friend, but these 2 aren't. You
got to recognize what you are.
Yeah.
And men don't. Men don't even know who the fuck they are because they haven't gone through any sort of personal development.
They don't, man. It's just about building confidence. And I think the easiest way to do that in the modern time is just to introduce yourself into just mild discomfort with nutrition control and physical fitness. Right. That's it. And I'm not saying that people need to be a bodybuilder, simple, man. But if you got yourself down to close to single digit body fat, I fucking promise you, women will look at you, dudes. And if you're over, I'd say 210, when you start to be 210 and 220, like the girls start to notice you. You're an anomaly in society and they just can't help but notice. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. It's the same thing with the girls with, you know, the fake lips and the large breasts and stuff. People just can't help but like look in their direction when the girl has a BBL. You're like, God damn. You know, they don't mean to, but you don't see that kind of stuff every day. And you want to be the thing that's not so common. Yeah. It just makes life easier. That's my 2 cents, man. What do I know?
At the end of the day, though, man, the last thing someone that's my fucking age or even younger should be focusing on is women. Like, dog, get your fucking shit right. Like, you like you're skinny or you're fat. Fucking take care of business first before you can't even be there for yourself. How are you gonna show up for her? You know what I'm saying?
It's easy. So I don't know. I think girls have never really been that hard for me. And I've never really just obsessed over something that was common in my life. Being around females was not like taboo because I could just talk to people.
Bro, for me, I'm Indian, bro. That shit was taboo. You can't hang out, bro.
You just simply do this. Get yourself into the gym, build a body that you respect. It's going to take you 6 months or a year. And then focus, keep and maintain that body and growing it and that habit and figure out how to make a fair amount of money. We'll say triple the national average. So the national average is about $65,000 for a single person annually. Not a ton of money, but it's not a little. So figure out how to double and triple that. How do I make close to 200K? If you're a sub 20 person making about $250,000 a year, you are not a brokey. You're doing very well. You can go to eat at any restaurant you so choose. You can drive any car you so want, and you can live in about any house you want to.
Yes, sir.
Just about. I'm not saying mansions and craziness, but I guess you can take that young lady anywhere she wants to go and give her a life that you're proud of. And that's all it takes. And from there, your revenue should always increase. If you obsess over females, they'll distract you from your work ethic and the things that you need to do productivity-wise. And unfortunately, you can't get time back. Yep. As you're older, you will understand is the only people that hit the wall are females. Men don't hit the wall. So you have a little more time. Life isn't fair. So you'll always be able to date 20-something-year-old women. Hello, Leonardo DiCaprio. Right? So as long as you maintain your money and your presence and your physical fitness, you can always attract the most beautiful partner you so choose to keep in your company. Or if you just want to be solo and have a low dramatic life, then just get a dope dog and chill out and live an amazing life. Write a couple books and you'll be great.
Fuck, I guess. I mean, like,
if that's what you want, there's nothing wrong with being a monk.
You know what the problem is? The problem is everyone they have in their ear. Like, you got like online people.
Yeah, cultural too.
Yeah, I mean like that, but like you also have online people that are like, hey, shred fat this fast, and like, it'll be very low effort and it won't take much commitment and stuff. I'm like, that's exactly why all you guys suck at everything you fucking do.
Yeah.
Because you going into it like that. But you, like you said, bro, you have to go all in. There can't be a plan B. You got to burn the fucking boats.
Yeah.
Be like, I got to be the best that I can be. I don't give a fuck how hard it is. I'm going to get this shit done. That's it.
There's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And unfortunately, when it comes to fitness, you just got to do it the right way. And the right way, no matter how you chop it up, isn't fast, isn't typically fun or pleasant. That's it. No one likes to be the guy at a restaurant measuring their damn steak. Like it's just.
I brought my scale with me.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
You can't get to where you want to go unless you reduce the variables and you know what you're bringing in your body. You can't.
Right.
Anything excess is stored. So I need a deficit. You can't get a deficit if you're missing an ounce, 100 grams here or there just because you're eyeballing it. It's not happening, man.
Right.
It's just not. There's nobody that ever got on stage by just, what do they call that fucking gay ass shit? Intuitive fucking eating. Oh my God.
I mean, that's it. Look, like someone like Wes might be able to do that. But if you're fucking starting out, the last thing you should be doing is trying to be intuitive because your intuition is retarded, man. Don't fucking listen to that.
If you have 230 pounds of lean muscle, that you are allotted a certain amount of leeway of garbage to eat is because you require a massive amount of calories to maintain. The average dude has probably, I don't know, 150 pounds of skeletal muscle at best. Okay, so someone that has 100 pounds of skeletal muscle on you gets to eat 100 pounds worth of calories, proteins, fats, and carbs more just to maintain. I'm not even talking loss. So
right.
There is a massive difference between that and body types. But for the most, I'll say 99.9% of everybody, you better measure your shit if you want the results. And that's it. Or have someone else measure it for you. Like if you're eating Icon meals or any one of those meal prep places, their macros are right on the box. Like you know what to eat. You're like, you set them out. You're like, okay, I can have 2 shakes and 3 of these, and I nail my macros. Okay, perfect. Then you don't have to measure shit. It's done for you, and you just simply track it in your app. But if you're just eyeballing like the plate method or something, unless you're eating mostly vegetables, it's going to be really hard to dial in your macros.
Yeah.
It's just not for a substantial loss.
You can't think about it like, oh, it's such like a hard thing. You have to validate yourself with that shit, with the work.
It ain't fucking hard.
Yeah,
I
gotta change the way that we look at that.
I can measure my macros in like under 60 seconds. Right. Like shit ain't hard. You take a scale, put the plate on it, hit 0, scoop on some shit. Okay, I need 200 grams of this. No problem. 0 again. Oh, I need another 200 grams of meat. All right, good. My fats are in there because I'm eating red meat, so I'm good. Yeah. I'm done for that meal. The next one's a shake. Next one, another 30 seconds to measure. This shit is not complicated.
It is, and even if it was difficult, even if it was hard, fucking do it. Like, what do you guys want? That easy bullshit? You want to be a pussy?
Measuring is not the hard part.
Yeah.
The hard part is when you're around your people and they're not measuring. You're like, oh, it's just 1 scoop of mashed potatoes and gravy.
Right.
Oh, it's just 1 biscuit. Oh, it's just a tube of Oreos because I earned it.
Right.
It's those things that are messing you up, but those things don't happen once a week or one meal. They happen slowly more and more and more often as you feel like you've earned more and more.
Yeah.
You just can't. Get to your body weight and then screw off a little.
Yeah.
That's
when you can kind of afford it, I guess. But even then, it's just like
reward yourself and like shock your insulin a little bit and your metabolism and have a cheat meal and like go stupid. Have that pizza. But you're 40 pounds down and it's 1 day a week, or 1 meal a week. It's not like it's the bad part is your bad habits will turn into regular habits, and it won't just be 1 meal a week. It'll be 1 time a day. And then before you know it, you're right back where you started.
Yeah.
Like you have to just solidify the habits, understand this is going to be a little uncomfortable and it's okay. Like it's not impossible. The food is the hardest part to manage and it is the most important part. to all of health. It doesn't matter. You jump rope for 10 minutes, your heart's healthy, but you can still look like a bag of donuts, like that was run over several times, then shoved into those shorts and that t-shirt. That's not healthy. Like you're just as unhealthy because you can still jump rope 10 minutes and your weight isn't under control. To lose the weight is very uncomfortable, specifically if it's significant. Like it's just going to take time. And most people don't want to live like that, where they can't drink with their friends. They can't eat the ice cream, the pizza, the hamburgers. They can't hang out with the homies at lunchtime. They can't do the brunches. Like all that has to go. There's no control there. They're adding in oils and all kinds of stuff to the food. It is very tasty, and you're just not going to know what you put in your body. Your whole week can be blown through one afternoon of drinking and eating like shit. And then you'll feel like crap probably several days into the week, sabotaging your workout intensity and the way you feel. And it's not going to help you.
If you actually weigh that scale, it ends up not even being worth it. Like this is what it is.
Exactly. Like you just can't do both. Like we'll assume that we're healthy just because we hit the gym 6 days a week and we still hit brunch and drink like animals, like on a Sunday. And we'll think, oh, I'm healthy. I did 6 days. Well, did you really?
Cognitive dissonance, bro.
Yeah, you're disconnected from the goal you want. You just go psycho 6 months. Doesn't matter what it is, and then see how you feel. Just for the love of God, commit, and you'll be great. And I don't care if it's fitness, if it's jump roping, if it's chess, if it's relationships, if it's church, if it's spirituality in any other form. It doesn't matter. Just go all in to where you're obsessive and consumed by understanding this, applying it, and getting better. It will change your life. It really will change the outlook of how you see yourself in the world. Doesn't matter what it is. Fucking calligraphy.
There's nothing like it.
Nothing like
it.
You learning a new skill, because most people don't learn a new skill after high school. They don't learn anything new past high school. They don't try. They don't change anything. They're going year to year to year for a 3% promotion for the rest of their lives. Like
fucking try to keep up with inflation.
Like they're negative. They're just everything's sucking more and more, and that's why people get to my age and they're grumpy old fuck, and they're like, why are they so grumpy? Well, they lost the best years of their lives. They didn't piece it together, and now they're fucked. Like there's little hope if you have 40 years of bad habits and low self-esteem. Shit, now you look at 40-year-olds. Just look around. Well, maybe not Miami. There's some hot ass fucking old dudes, and chicks. But you'd be like, God damn, she's 40. Fuck. Like, but you get outside of Miami, go out Fort Lauderdale, anywhere else, you'd be like, okay, like they're shot out. Like they look bad.
They never even took the time to reflect.
Yeah, just they missed it.
Like, hey, I've been the exact same since last year and the year before that.
They're getting ready for a divorce, and she's gonna take half, and like. No, you're not dating the hot chicks anymore, bro. Like those days are gone for you. Yep. Okay, so how we say this? How we say this gently? Fuck it, let's just rip that Band-Aid off.
Go ahead.
So where do you see yourself going after this? So you're going down this path of personal development and you're loving it. Where's like your next level up? Like, what's the next thing that, like, you got to hit because it's eating you alive right now?
Honestly, the only thing I ever focus on is just hitting my daily habits and then adding more to my plate. Because I know my success is always going to come down to my smallest denomination, which is what I do every single day. So I never even think about, like, I'm going to do this major thing. I just let it kind of come to me, like this podcast. You were like, yo, hit this podcast. At the time, I didn't feel like I was ready. And I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to spend these next 2 months. I'm going to get ready. Yeah. I'm going to make my content better. And I know that's the right thing. So I just kind of feel it out. And I just take it every day at a time. That's all it is. And I don't think there's a better way to really do it than just doing it like that, having your coach tell you what your next step is. And for me, he's already told me, he's like, you just need to keep doing exactly what the fuck you're doing, not thinking about anything else. So I just do everything I do, and I fucking love it. That's it.
That's it. That's a good way of looking at it. I keep my focus narrow. On my stuff. I don't get too far. I don't get too far ahead of the current day. I kind of have certain milestones that are we'll just say in chalk
Yeah.
on the board. But for the most part, I keep everything very narrow. I need to get X, 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 X done today. Because one, it gives me a very achievable goal. And we'll just say that I need to make X sales a day, 1,000 to 3,000 a day. That's like it. If I hit 1,000 to 3,000 a day every single day, everything's good.
Yeah.
And when I miss that, I get very upset. And we have to figure out how we can continue to hit that milestone. My daily habits are super simple.
Yeah.
I'm up at the same time every day, 05. I have my coffee. I go check my metrics on my systems first thing in the morning, make sure that my admin people are on it for the day. And then I'm off to the gym with the boys at 9. We're there from like 9 to 10. Today, 11, they went early.
Wow, we were there at 8.
Yeah,
That's what they said, switching the time over now.
Yeah. Motherfuckers. They didn't tell. They didn't tell the OG, but they knew I'd be asleep. So thank you, fellas, for letting me sleep in because I'm old. We sleep in. But I hit the gym with the boys, and then we grab a coffee after that, and then my rest of my day, I have all my meetings start at noon on. So noon to 3 are my meetings, and then sales calls throughout the evening. So that's how I have my schedule set up, and that's very effective. But that's how I live every single day. There is no Saturday. There is no Sunday. I actually get fucking pissed when people are like, "Oh, it's Saturday to do something." I'm like, I don't have one of those. Yeah. I have today. Right. And today we still do $1,000 to $3,000 in sales, which isn't a ton. Very doable. Everybody should be able to figure that out eventually. I still have to hit the gym with the boys. Same fucking time. Still have to have the coffee with the boys. Same time. Still have the sales calls and my coaching calls. Same time. I eat at the same time every day. Like nothing changes. It's identical. So when someone says, "Oh, it's Christmas Eve, what are we doing?" I want to strangle you. I really do. I'm like, the fuck? It's just another day. I still do my sales calls. And in the event that I'm not doing any sales calls, I'm figuring out what I can fit into that business day to get into the next layer of the business, right? What systems, I'm looking at the numbers and understanding what systems that we scale to get through the 3 to 6,000, the 3 to $10,000 a day bucket, right? Because it is a scalable system. It just requires X and X, push it into the bakery, and now we have a cake that every single day it's hitting $3,000 to $6,000 a day, or 6 to 9, or whatever. It doesn't matter the number. It's futile. It's the problems are the same. More of X, Y, and Z.
How are you determining like what goals to go after? What's a worthy goal?
For me, it's what drives the business. So my goals are really just milestones in my business. I don't have personal goals anymore. My goal is to just die happy. Like I've had enough life. I'm ready to go after this word. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've done a lot of crazy shit. I've lived a very beautiful life. I have a lot of people that I support, and I wish I could be there forever, but ultimately I've done my part. I'm good. So my goals are set on what to figure out more to scale the business. Everything I do is business orientated at the moment. And then I want to take those lessons learned that I figure out and apply it to my clientele.
What would you say to the person that just heard this and he's like, that sounds miserable? What would you say to that person?
Are you at peace?
Yeah.
I'm completely at peace. Doctoral level education. I'm a grandparent, beautiful partner. I run a 7-figure business. I have great friends. They don't drink. They don't do drugs.
Yep.
I wake up every day.
Yeah, purpose.
I wake up every day perfectly at peace.
Yeah.
And my only goal is to maintain that peace.
Yep.
So maybe to you, that's miserable. But to me, it's the only peace I've ever known my whole life. So I'm 100% good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. So that's it.
A lot of people think you need these these highs and lows, but once you go through the highs and lows and you're like, I'm just good doing this over time.
Motherfucker, you have no idea what it's like. Do this. Make your first $1,000 online from selling a digital product today. And then the first time you have a $9,000 day, a $19,000 day. And when you have that in your pocketbook, talk to me about feeling. Yeah. Because that is an amazing feeling, understanding that today, in one day, I brought in more revenue in a single day than the average person brings in 4 months of work. Okay, that made me feel pretty good. So now, how do we repeat this every day to where I can change the nature of my life completely and my business? And hopefully the customers I'm impacting are in a very positive and beneficial way, and we're adding value and providing them a service that helps them do the same for their families and their employees and their business. It's connected. I win, they win. Right. I don't view it as it's all mine. Right. For me to win, my clients have to win. They have to get results. So I worry more. This is the only time that I worry more for my clients than I worry for myself. Right. I'm willing to burn it all down, but I want them to win. Yeah. Because I feel like at least someone gets to shine out of this. Right. And I don't want to feel guilty as that I got paid and I was the only person to find success out of this relationship. Yeah. That makes me feel like shit. So I want to make sure is that I prioritize their success. Now, there are levels to their investment, and I'll say this, the least amount that they invest into their business and process, the higher risk and less likely they will succeed. Success requires a massive investment in time and resources. Yeah. And if you can't break a significant threshold, we'll just say 20K. If you can't figure out how to break the 20K marker in a business, it becomes very difficult. Yeah. And that's usually a result of lack of initial investment. And there probably is a certain amount of skill sets that are deficient in every single pillar of the business. But in the most part, if you have a good product and you're investing a fair amount of resources, you can hit that 20K relatively simply. Yeah. Relatively simply. I could do that selling pizzas, I think.
Yeah, I mean, once you've become the person, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, pizzas. I think I could sell
you
water
take the most shitty
duck.
blueprint. But everyone else is like, hey, what do I do? Like, what do I need to do to get this and that? I'm like, you're not the right person. Like, it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. You have to change you first.
Guys, so many people want a free lunch, a free ride, an easy way out, a 4-hour work week. It's impossible to sell you a 160-hour work week. It really is. If I say, hey, look, what do you want to do with your life? They'll say, hey, look, I want to never have to work again for the rest of my life and be successful. Give me 7 years. Give me 120 to 150 hours every single week of your life, and I can show you exactly how to create enough revenue, invest the right way to where on year 6 or 7, you never work for the rest of your life again. Now, you may not be living in a penthouse in New York City, but if you so choose, you could have your feet up on just the right beach, writing your book, on your FaceTime with your family, doing whatever it is that you want to do for 16, 24 hours a day for the rest of your life. So you would be 25, 26, 27, and then you would never have to work again. That's it. But they won't do that. They won't give up all the good times, all the fun and pleasurable things for 20 to 27 to achieve lifelong retirement. And that's the reality of human nature. It's like there might be 1 in 10,000 people that might pull it off, because they just won't suffer. And that's what it takes. When I bought my first house in California, it was a stretch at $500,000, and I paid off like $70,000 in debt. I worked 165 hour weeks. I did that for 49 weeks straight, no days off, 7 days a week. I worked all day, every day to create enough revenue and buffer to purchase my first house in San Diego.
That's hustle.
That's hustle. And I had a clear goal. I knew exactly what I needed to do, how to get there. And I basically told myself, this will kill me or I will succeed. And I was close to death. I got to be really honest.
Get rich or die trying.
At that end of the year, my body essentially shut down. I'd hit my stress limit, and my cortisol was through the roof, and my organs were shutting down. But I did make it. No, for real. That's for real. I went to the doctor. They're like, we don't know what's wrong with you. We have no clue. But if this continues, you might not make it. And I went back the next week, and it was still the same thing. Like, my feet were black and blue. I couldn't walk on my feet. All my knuckles and joints were bruised. Every single joint and knuckle was permanently like bruised. Like I'd been punching something, but I wasn't. Everything hurt and inflamed. It was just massive stress from working crazy hours. And I had foregone nutrition and physical fitness. And I spent the next 3 months rebuilding back my physical fitness and my nutrition, getting my stress under control, and everything returned to normal. It took about 6 months for the bruising to go away.
Yeah.
But I did it. And I realized what I was made of.
Yep.
And I don't want to work that hard anymore. But I know that if I had to, we could get dirty with it, and we can go there. And sometimes you have to go psycho to do really difficult things when they're out of reach. Most people can't figure out how to come up with a $50,000 down payment. The average American and those things. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. Most people can't figure out how to remove $100,000 in student debt or credit card debt. And I did all those in 1 year. So all the family's debt, and built up a nest egg of about $70K. And I just did it like a militant. There was no excess spending. Every single week, the only thing I'd spend money on was a 3-piece chicken, KFC chicken, a Coke, and Dairy Queen Blizzard. That was my reward meal for the week. I had 0 personal expenses for 6 days every single week. So in a 4-week period, my only personal expenses were 12 pieces of chicken and 4 Blizzards and 4 Cokes. That was it. The only expenses I made. Everything else was taking care of removing the debt and saving money. And that was the same in my family. I was like, you motherfuckers will not spend money because I am suffering so hard right now. You have to make it worth it. Like, I might not live through this, but you guys could get a house. I was like, that's where we're at. So see it through, do everything that you need to do. And they did the same thing. My wife at the time got crazy with the budget, and she didn't spend any excess money, and we paid down a massive amount of debt.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it was just pure suffering.
Yeah.
Pure suffering. There was no easy
You're
way around it.
focused. Like, bro, people today have way short attention spans. They can't even watch a damn 3-minute video.
Bro, they just don't know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
And they've never seen themselves do anything of note.
Yeah.
So they don't have any confidence and belief that they can do anything. And that's the problem, is that I've done so many things that were extremely difficult, from 2 tours in Iraq, 2 tours in Afghanistan, all my personal development stuff. Like, I've done some pretty crazy shit, and those are just confidence builders. But it all starts with something as simple as just going to the gym for a week. Right. Shit, when I first went to the gym for the week, when I met my coach, like, I wasn't shot out, but I just wasn't about that gym life. I'd fallen off, and the first time I went to the gym, I was in there for 5 minutes. I was in there for 5 minutes. I saw a little cute girl at the dress. I gave her a high five at the desk, and then I went over to the rack with my 230-pound self, like, not so muscly, and I was pretty soft. And I hit the rack. I did 4 sets. I'm like, I'm good. And then I walked out the front door. Wow. And I saw the lady. She's like, that was a quick one. I was like, I usually don't hear that, but I'll be back tomorrow. And gave her a high five. And I came back the next day. And the next day, I did what I could until I developed the habit, and just started working through the habit. See, I don't want to, I don't need to run down to the bottom of the hill and bang one of those cows, right? I'm not that kind of bull. I'm the kind of bull that's like, nah, we're going to walk down there and get them all, right? That's the kind of bull I am. So I understand the process of developing habits take one step at a time. And most people think they have this grandiose idea, the drop 40 pounds in 14 days, the liquid fasting, drop 20 pounds in a weekend shit. Like,
I've never even heard of that.
That's not something that I believe in, is because I'm more interested in the habits and the longevity. So yeah. I know the power is in not giving up versus getting quick results. Quick results never validate anything for me because I don't feel like I earned it. I was like, wow, that came too easy. Like, I don't even think I want to do this now. Like, for me, it's the difficult process of the things that take time. Like, I value that a lot in my life. And that's why I don't move that quick when it comes to those things. I just move consistently. I know if I just come here every day and add in another 2 minutes in a year, I have a massive program where I'm in the gym 2 hours, no problem. It's because I didn't notice the 2 minutes every week, right? Where they want the results too quick and then they give up. Like, oh shit, like I hit a wall and like I'm not getting mine anymore, so I don't want it. My contract with self is just do what I did yesterday and add to it. Come to the gym, I don't want to go. There's days I was like, I don't want to see you fucking asshole gorillas right now. Like, you're not nice to me today. like you're all angry, you're all lifting weights, you're all upset. It's not going your way. Like, I don't want to be here, but I go every day, right? And then there's days where it's like, I'm the one carrying the group. Like, I'm the happy one and I'm loving life. And, you know, that rubs off on them. And there's days when they don't want to go to the gym, but then they go. And then I see that. I'm like, it's like he was injured. Like, he was all fucking sick. Like, he couldn't even eat food, like acid reflux and shit. And like, Wes made it. And then Nick's all fucked up. Like, his hands all messed up. I was like, Nick came to the gym. And then there's that day that I'm injured. My shit's all fucked up. Like, my elbow for like the week has been completely fucked. And like, I went every day, right? I didn't go today because they went early, but now I got to work out. So it's like, I still got to go. Like, those are just the little wins where a group just keeps motivating and pushing and inspiring each other to keep going. Like, it's just one more day, one more day, one more day, one more day.
People around you is really important.
It's
everything.
Yeah. If you have a bad partner, that'll sabotage your success so easy. If you have parents that are constantly grinding you down and like, you can't do this, this isn't for you, our people don't do that. We're these kinds of people down here in the mud. Like, they'll just wear you down. You've got to understand that no matter what anybody tells you, never let someone diminish your shine. You can, you should, you will, and don't listen to anybody. Like, anything is possible by anybody. I don't care if you're fucking black, white, purple, pink, Christian, Muslim, Buddhism. I don't care what you look like, where you come from, how much money you have. None of that matters. If you make the right choices and you focus on a single endeavor, you can accomplish just about anything if you never give up. I mean, there are people in space that were told no 10 times by NASA. And the 11th time they said yes. Like, that's perseverance and commitment. Like, you just won't take no for an answer. Like, okay, I'll be back. Okay, you're right. I'll be back. I didn't have this thing. Go get that thing. Come back. Like, you don't have this other thing. Okay, good. Go get that other thing. Come back. They just keep saying no until they run out of shit to say no. Like, haven't I seen you before? Yeah, actually, you've seen me 11 times and told me 11 times no. I'm back here. Again, you might probably tell me 12. I was like, but I'm coming back again for the 13th fool. Like, I'm not giving up. I'm going to be the first motherfucking bearded asshole in space. Like, I'm just doing it. And you just have to believe that shit. And that's the same thing that created Tesla cars, SpaceX, the Ford vehicles. It's the same thing that the feminist movement. It's the same thing over and over again. That's the American dream. That's the human spirit. Like, we've conquered nations by just willpower. Like, you can do it. Like, that's just what I believe. And I try to go back to that on the days that I'm being a little soft. I have somehow allowed doubt to seep into my brain and be like, fuck. Like, if I just go to the gym, I imagine this. In my head, I say this to myself. I'm on an 18-week cycle of growth. If every single day I'm just going to be a quarter pound heavier, that's it. Like, that's what we're going to do. And at the end of this, we're going to be probably 10, 15 pounds heavier. Like, that's it. And so much of that's going to be muscle. So if I don't go today, I'm going to lose a quarter pound of muscle. Like then I lose a week almost. Like, fuck my life. We can't do that. Like, I got to go. I got to lift this weight. I got to eat this food, or I just wasted all my time. I might as well start sewing or something.
Yeah, if you don't
I
bitch
might
out.
as well start taking out the trash then,
Yep.
because this is what I want to do. And nothing is more important than hitting that daily win.
Yep.
And it all adds up over time. And it's, even if I made no movement, I would feel like I put on those 15 pounds anyway. I would walk around like, got my little pump on. I was like, I'm 15 pounds heavier. Fuck off, world.
Yeah.
I made it. Yeah. I made it on my pump day. I'm looking good. I carved up. I'm like, Incredible Hulk. And then the next day, my carbs drain out, and then I'm a little dehydrated, and I look like Bruce Banner without the Incredible Hulk. But it's all right. On that pump day, I was hitting those angles.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps me going. Yeah. Those are the little techniques that I use to convince myself to do shit that I don't want to do. Even me. There's moments when I'm like, I don't even want to get out of bed, bro. I'm like, fuck, I'm so warm. My little toesies are good.
I think people don't realize that. Like, we actually have those days just as often.
Yeah.
But our self-talk is on point and our belief system is tight.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that just that resonates most with me is I just need these things to clear my mind and be peaceful. So it's most people have some type of physical goal. It's I want to put on the size, or I want to drop the pounds. For me, 99.9% of it is just keep my mind clear. Like, as long as I can hit the gym, I can keep all the energy positive, and I'm good to go. Nothing else matters. And that's where I personally start, because that aspect of my personality, that is my only non-negotiable. If I go to the gym, I'm a better person to be around. And more importantly, I like me better. Like, there are moments where I don't even like myself. I'm like, God damn it. That was shitty, Clinton. Like, what the fuck? And then, like, I have to tell people, like, I care about, I'm sorry. Like, I was like, hey, it's not you, it's me. I'm a fucking asshole. Like, just ignore me, please. And that's the worst place to be, because you can't even control the words out your mouth, you know? So I don't want to be the person that truly hurts people that you care for or love with your words. And for me to manage that is so easy as just go to the gym. I kind of discharge my personal stress or whatever I've created in my head, and helps me focus clearly. That's what I do. Yeah. And I don't know. What's your take on it?
I mean, yeah, without the work, bro, I feel like a piece of shit. And that's when I start going into the pleasure chasing stuff. Not like, people don't realize that when you don't literally move your body, then all the doubt comes in, then all the pleasure comes in, because with the boredom comes the pleasure. Now I'm sitting here thinking about, what if I just smoked this one time? You know, now I'm thinking about, just 2.5 grams of shrooms, like, you know, I could just take this day off and I'll be good to go tomorrow. It's the biggest fucking lie, because I've done that. I have fucked up, and then I got the notification of regret and I listened to it. You know, and that's why I'm like, nah, that's a lie. Don't listen to that shit. That's a lie. But when I go and move, it gets my mind right. When I hit that meal and I didn't want to fucking do it, and I did it, and then I'm like, okay, I got this. And I validate myself with my habits, with my character. And like, I have to make it not about me. Because if it's about me and I'm just like, oh, come on, you got to get a little bit bigger, you know, you got to lift more weight, this and that, like, I won't fucking do it. But then I think about my mom, you know, I think about my sister, I think about my family, I think about my brothers, I think about all my youngins that watch, and I'm like, they don't have any example. Like, you got to be the example. And so that makes the work a lot easier to fucking do than just thinking about me.
Man, that is so gracefully spoken, is that you just align whatever it is that you want to do to other people's needs. Do this for them. And those words will be the thing that will keep you going in the darkest times. If you're in battle, you're in war, having a hard time paying your bills, if I just suffer a little bit for my family, things will get better. And that's a thing you have to connect with, is what's your deeper why? It just can't be for the six-pack abs, because it won't stick. It needs to be a deeper why. My deeper why is I just want to feel better for the people that are around me, so I can have a clear mind and be at peace. And that's priceless to me. His priceless is doing the things for his family. And like always, I want to say thank you for tuning in. I hope you got something out of this. Jazzy's just getting started, my man.
Sir.
And like everything in life, this is where he's at today. But I promise you, The next time he comes back on the podcast or comes around to Miami, he's going to be bigger. He's going to be doing it better. And he's going to be where you could have been, but you never took that first step. Reach out to my guy on Instagram. His shit will be across the bottom if you want coaching or mentorship or even dialing in your macros. It's not difficult, but you got to take that first step. He's not going to do it for you. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later, and peace.
Peace.